Welcome to it. It is a Sunday racing coming through from the capital, Pietermaritzburg, KZN. We're at Hollywood Bets of Scottsville for an 8-racer program that promises to be very, very competitive indeed. The first of those 8 races gets underway at 12:35. Well, it is looking forward to your feedback as to the start of the soccer league in the UK and the racing that has proceeded. That is racing on Friday, and all things being equal, racing in the Western Cape at the country course of Durbanville. We are recording on a Friday, so it is before the Saturday. Right, let's get into the betting for race number 1, and it is the 2 Hurricane Catch, your favorite at 15-10. Number 8, UE is at 16-10, 8-1. The 4, Blowing in the Wind, it is 10-1, and better bar those. Well, there's certainly a man who hasn't been blowing in the wind, but blowing in the direction of winners in recent times is Daryl Marie. He is our analyst for the meeting at Hollywood Bets Scottsville, and I bid you a very warm welcome, and it is good morning on a Friday morning.
Morning, sis. How are you doing?
I'm very good, and how are you doing?
All good, thank you very much.
Okay, now as far as race number 1, it is the first leg of the bipod. UE has solid form, moves he rode it last time out. Hasn't got a ride in the race, and instead it will be Atandi Mgudlwa, an apt replacement. He has been booting them home left, right, and center, so no shortage of skill in the saddle.
Do you know the song Yui?
I remember it vaguely. I was trying to actually recall it, but I was so tied up with so many other things. Do you remember the song?
No, I don't. I'm going to Google it, but I can tell you something. I Googled the horse's name and Hollywood Bets.
Yes.
And up it came, and it's the first time I've seen this. They've got a post-race comment from Anthony Delpesh for every one of their runners.
Yes.
And this is what he said after Yui's last run. The jockey never listened to instructions. He was told to give her a chance and let her finish her race off. Instead, he jumped and took her to the front. That was the reason she stopped over the final 200 meters. I prefer her form to the current favorite. I'm really surprised to see Hurricane Catty's favorite above a Yui because I think a Yui's penultimate start was strong form, ran against winners, and I'm a little bit doubtful about edge of tomorrow's form line. So yeah, it sounds as if a Yui is going to be given a chance. Comes back to 1,000 meters. I think she is the right one of the race runners. I'm very, very confident of her running in the top 2. So yes, a bank in the opening leg.
Bank in the opening leg of the bipod, and it is a UE in the colors of the Hollywood. It will be partnered by Atindu Mgudlwa for the stable of Garth Fuller. Please be reminded of time, 12:35 to race 1 at Hollywood Bets Scottsville on Sunday. And on we go with the preview to Sunday racing, and it's now on to race number 2 at Hollywood Bets Scottsville. This is a maiden plate for fillies and mares over the 1,600 meters. A field of 10 assembled, and just having a look at the current betting, it looks a slightly more open affair, but we do know that the silks of Mr. Ibrahim will be to the 4 there. There on the 5 for Safari Lodge, Peter Muscat and Gavin Larena team up, and that is a 3-1. Number 1, Laugh Till I Cry, and the 7, Zola, both at 4-1, 5-1, the 3. Tuscan Star 6-1, about the 9 Jet Lavish, and thereafter 15-2, and better bar those. Well, Zola, they've retained the same rider, that is Rachel Fenniger for the Mace Roberts stable, and of course, congratulations on her latest exploits just a week or so ago at Ascot. And it's her retaining this ride on this 3-year-old daughter of Elusive Fort out of a Western Winter mare, and that is Our Princess.
Yeah, I'm actually waiting for her to go a little bit further. I think we'll only see the best of her when she steps up further in trip, but I'm not discounting her chances of here. If you like her chances, have a look at number 6, D-Day. Not much separating the two of them, but yes, she does have more scope than D-Day has.
This is behind Firecracker.
Yeah, so there's another form line over here that shouldn't separate Safari Lodge and Silver Jubilee. I mean, they finished alongside each other. I actually think Safari Lodge maybe a little bit better with more restraint from the saddle. I don't know. I thought she finished her race off nicely in her penultimate starts, and then last time out just gave way late. So let's see how she goes. The improver in the race, I know it's only a week later, could be number 3, Tuscan Star. I actually had a look at her. She's a solid daughter of Futura. the dam actually, funny enough, stayed over 1800. So the extra should suit. But she's got such a big stride about her. I hope she gets into the race this time around, because if she's handier, I think we'll see a lot of improvement on her behalf. Number 9 interests me over here, Jet Lavish. She's well bred. Her dam won over a mile. So I know she improved on the poly track last time out, but she was well clear of the balance. In that race was a horse called Her Royalty, 8 lengths behind her, came out and ran second in her next start. I think Cabela from a wideish draw will have no option but to bounce her and make use of her, and she could keep rolling. I think she's going to appreciate the step up in trip. So I'm not convinced I'm going to get through the opening leg of the PA. I've got numbers 3, 5, and 9. I just hope that's enough.
3, 5, and 9. So you are excluding Umzolozo.
I am, yeah.
Okay, there it is. 3, 5, and 9 of that is at the PA. Race number 2, the second of 8, is off at 10 past 1. All right, so we get into race number 3, and Faisal is a weak favorite at 4-1. Faisal, that is number 4, 5-1 on numbers 5 Tomerus, and the 7 Vion's Queen, as well as numbers 8 Escape Artist and the 9 Quantum. It is 10-1 and better by those. Now, Quantum is a veteran of 19 runs, and that last run in the Ofter Stud Stakes, it really did give the backers and the people that bank at Mascarena in their pick sixes a bit of a fright. It was Muzieni who retains the ride for Alec, and they seem to have struck up a bit of a relationship. I think they had that win with Lady Elliot last Sunday.
Yes. Yeah, she's been backed up fairly soon. 2 weeks later, must have taken that race well. Others I give chances to: Escape Artist, Vion's Queen. Last time out, I've always rated this filly. She was caught wide on the poly track. I thought she did extremely well to stay on into third. Tomerus must have a chance. Off limits, if you're playing trifectas and quartets, I'd include her. But I've taken even Forward Motion, done nothing wrong to date. But I've taken my chances here. I've banked at number 4, Phasar. Now, in her last start, I thought the distance and the track caught her out. She moved up sweetly as if she was going to win by lengths. That was her undoing. I love the fact that she's coming back in trip. I think she's going to reverse the form with Escape Artist. Or let me just have a look over here. Confirm the form with Escape Artist. But I think this is a perfect race for her. If you go back to her penultimate start, when she won oh so sweetly. And that form line has held up well with several winners coming out of there. I think a lot of direct and indirect winners. So I'm going into this race quite confident, and I'll tell you why. Cecil, in that race where she beat Gorgeous Girl, she gave Gorgeous Girl 3.5 kilograms.
Although
she gave her
Gorgeous
weight.
Girl didn't really frank the form last time. Huh?
No, she never. But she gave her 3.5 kilograms. Look at Tomerus. Tomerus was beaten by Gorgeous Girl at level weights. So I think Phasar's the right mare, yeah. Well, in a fillies and mares handicap. Listen, it is a fillies and mares handicap, and it should be very, very competitive. But I think this is an ideal race for her. So yes, in or out for me.
In or out rather, Faisal. And I think many people would be following your lead, Gavin Larena, in the saddle for the stable of Gareth Van Sale. That pick 6 rather, my apologies, starts in race number 3. So pick 6, and Fillies and Mares 82 handicap is what we've been talking about. Okay, so we're getting into our first jackpot, a graduation plate over the 1,500 meters. We should be off at 20 past 2, a field of 10 assembled, and leading the pack it will be the 2 Tea Time Tipple at 4-1 for an informer, Stu Ferry, and Galvin Abib gets the ride for the Ferry stable. 4 runners at 5-1, the 3 Offs in Command, 4 Command Pilot, the 6 New Mexico, and the 9 French Flame. It is 8-1 and better by those. So would it be outlandish to suggest a Command Exacta here, boxed 3 and 4?
No, I could certainly have that. It would suit me. Yeah, let's just take note on jockey changes. I mean, we are recording the show on Friday morning,
Yes.
and Calvin isn't riding.
Oh yes, of course, after
at
Thursday.
Fairview on Friday. So
Yes.
I don't know how serious his injury is, but we wish him a speedy
It's
recovery.
rule 25 point something that applies. Yeah?
Okay, I can actually just pop down to his house. He's like 50 meters away from me, so go
Now,
check in on him.
yeah, you've gone from being a conspiracy theorist to a name dropper now, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, on paper, nothing separating the two commands, officer in command and command pilot. Command pilot, I think Scottsville will suit him better. Just run off his feet at Greyville. He wasn't quite traveling. He was always off the bit, but he finished his race off nicely. I think he's got a chance of reversing that form with officer in command. Kitchikal, lovely return after a rest last time out. There were a few equipment changes, and they stay off. He should really reverse the form with Down by the River. There's quite a big swing in the weights in his favor. So I think numbers 3, 4, and 7 are enough to get us through in this leg. I'm
Okay.
going in order 4, 3, 7.
I must tell you just a quick one as we round off and look at your first leg of the jackpot. In fact, your jackpot, which costs 168 Rand. When a command pilot was beaten by Zeus, and I just started working with Johnny G then, we had all put our eggs in the Zuzan basket, and oof, was it horrific that day? It was horrific. Jackpot, race 4, and that is the 4th of 8 getting underway, 20 past 2. All right, so 031 and 3141874 meritorious 82 handicap is where we head to next for the second jackpot getting underway at 14:55 the distance, also 1400 meters. So it is a drop back from 15 to 1400. And in race number 5, it is the 2 Mr. Henley who tops the boards, the 3 to 1 Tony Riveland and Gavin Arena. Voldemort, the 1 9 to 2, 5 to 1 the 4 Parmenion. 11 to 2 numbers, the 7 Imposing, and the 8 all the time, 6 to 1 and better bar those. Well, the second favorite, Voldemort, I'll never forget that debut effort. I mean, it was one of those most scintillating finishes, and everybody had it in their book, and it didn't disappoint next time out. But I think more has been expected.
Yes, yeah, we recall his debut.
Whoa.
It was an eye-catching debut.
Wow.
Yeah, not going to spend too much time on this race. I'll make it very difficult. Voldemort must have a chance at the turnaround at the weights. Mr. Henley, I mean, he's the current favorite. Personally, I think he's better on the poly, but let's see how he goes. Copper John caught wide last time out. If I'm not mistaken, there's an equipment change. Cheek pieces go on Copper John. Parmenion, if he settles in running, he must have a chance. I've left out numbers 5 and 6 in all my bets over here. So if you're brave, maybe box that exacta, but I've left them out. Number 7, Imposing. I like the way he quickened up last time out with the blinkers over the course and distance. You know, Mr. Roberts has commented in the front of the book, and I actually thought it was quite a positive comment. Doing well at home. Then the other two, who are their numbers 8 and 9?
All the time.
All the time.
Now, all the time is actual Rachel's baby. I think her record on the all the time is actually impressive. I think she's unbeaten on, or at least out of 4 rides, I think she's won 3 of.
Yeah. But Chase has teamed up well as well. He's ridden him and run second on him. Yeah, this horse, I mean, he's a 6-year-old and he's still improving with racing.
Yeah.
So you have to take his chances seriously. And then
The
Plaza Accord, I think they've been trying to settle him and let him do his best work late. Seems to be working. I'm sure that form line has been franked by now. So
from race 4.
Yeah. So I made this very wide.
Yeah.
Tough race.
Of course, Tristan had a winner for Repeater Muscat just a few days back, and that form looks to continue. 10 out of 11 draw. Right, let's have a look at that jackpot. There it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, and 9. As we don't want to hear about the 5 or the 6. 1 and 3 in the second leg. 560 Rand is your outlay to jackpot 2. Well, Alex, their presence is very, very much prominent at Hollywood Bets Scottsville. It is now well documented that he does like to be down there at this time of the year. The going is better for the horses, those who will need runs going into the new season up here once we have our reins. And he's got Sunset Riot, is one of his successful 3-year-olds. And that is your favorite at 3 to 1. 4 to 1, the 2 Bugalags. Number 4, Putilicious. 41.9 to 2 is the 6 United Nation. It is 15 to 2 and better bar those. Right, so the one Sunset Riot that has had the one run in KZN, that was last season as a 2-year-old, does step up into a 3-year-old company, and it's Manga Kumala getting the ride this afternoon.
I like his chances. I think he could be a very nice sort in the making. You know, in his penultimate start, his post made an effort. It was a hotly contested juvenile plate on that occasion. Some very nice horses in that race. And he didn't disgrace himself. Plan through his last start in the grade 2. I mean, he ran off the track. So, making his handicap debut, let's see how he goes. Let's touch on Pudalicious. I actually like the Son of Fireway. I think he's decent. But he is returning from a rest. And I had a look at the Hollywood comments. They said he is doing well back home. He has not had a grass gallop heading into this race, but his work has been good. But the stable feels that he may need the run. Okay, so if he's in need of the run, I had a nice look at this race and I fell on number 3, Beyond the Boundary. Now, I've made him my value bet for the day, and I just want to touch on a good friend of mine, Mr. Naidu from North Dean in Durban.
Okay.
He loves sending me screenshots of people slagging me off and having a go at me. You know, we all got our haters. But he sends these screenshots of how people put me down all the time, but then he follows up with a positive message. And he always says, don't take note of these cake lighties. So
Okay.
I'm hoping I can prove the cake lighties wrong over Yasis and Beyond the Boundary can get it right. I'll tell you why. Have a look at his rating. He's come down in the rating. Okay. In his penultimate start, he never stayed. Last time out, he was dropped in from a wide draw. He was just too far back and never in contention. He's dropped further in the rating down to a 74. He's super fit from a neat draw. I think with fitness on his side, and if he gets handy in a race like this, he has to be the value in the race. So I'm going 3 from 1.
3 from 1, the value being the 3 Beyond the Boundary, and that could be a very good value indeed. Atandu Mgudlo for Alison Wright. Atandu has ridden the horse 3 times, and it was 1 time a second. And of course, this is dedicated to Mr. Naidu in Durban and the Cake Lighties. All right, Meritrated 68 handicap is over the 1,200 meters. This will be a nice opportunity to get involved in a double. This is race number 7. And by that time, the racing, if it has been good for you, will just be getting to its peak because you're 2 more legs away from that pick 6 payout. Just one form update, by the way, before we get into the betting. Number 6, McCarty, a runner recently, and that finished 20.5 lengths behind a Master Bling. That was on the Poly on a Wednesday. Tristan Gordon retains the ride for the Andre Nel stable. The 5 Buster Keaton is the one at the top of the boards, 5 to 2. The 1 Cotton Ron, 33 to 10, 9 to 2. The 2 Happy Wanderer, 5 to 1. The 4 Brave Warrior, 15 to 2, and better bar those. This is a Meritrated 68, a lowly handicap over the 1,200 meters, Mr. Marie. The headgear goes on the 2 Happy Wanderer and the tongue tie on the 8 of Fire Tonic. And that's all I can do except just to hand over to you.
Yeah, although I've suggested a win bet of a year, I certainly have respect. Well, I know I have respect for several others, namely number 3, Mount Meru. I don't know how he's going to go over this track and trip, but his rating's plummeted. I mean, he's got 52 to shoulder, up the straight. Let's see how he goes. Buster Keaton, there's not much separating himself and my fancy Cotton Ron on the Northern Warrior form. And then you've got the likes of Al Drac, who's coming back to his favorite course and distance, having his peak run. So I do have respect for numbers 3, 5, and 7, but I've suggested a 1 bet on number 1, Cotton Ron. The reason being is I liked his chances in his penultimate starts. If you had a look prior to that, his rating off the turf was as high as a 72, and he had dropped right down to a 61 on the turf. And that's, in my opinion, the reason for his improvement in his penultimate start. Last time out, he had excuses, but look at that run. It was 3 days later. I thought that run came too soon for him. So some time off the track of year, off his current turf rating, I think we're going to get our run for our money. I don't make him a good thing whatsoever, but I think we'll get a run for our money. So I'm going 1 ahead of numbers 3, 5, and 7.
1, 3, 5, and a 7, 1 being the selection as far as a win bet at around 4 to 1, 33 to 10, 4 to 1. That is on a Friday morning, and that betting could either be in our favor or against us. That is the one cotton roll.